This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hey everyone, I'm Ace of Clay. I'm a sculptor, and every week I make a new sculpture. Today I'm sculpting the Cheshire Cat from Alice Madness Returns. Alice Madness Returns is a dark adventure game where Alice, haunted by her family's death, returns to a corrupted Wonderland shaped by her trauma. She battles nightmarish creatures, blending hack and slash combat with surreal horror. The Cheshire Cat in this game is a skeletal, eerie version of his classic self. He serves as Alice's cryptic guide, offering dark philosophical advice with a sinister grin. And we are sculpting him today, and I really hope you enjoy watching the process. And be sure to check out aceofclay.com to see all of the sculpting supplies I sell, as well as plushes, stickers, posters, keychains, and more. Now let's get started on our sculpture.
Alright, let's get started. I've got some scrap 10 gauge aluminum wire here, and we're going to start shaping out one side of the Cheshire Cat's body. After mirroring it to create the other side, I'm wrapping it together along with a third piece of wire for the neck. Now we're going to start bulking out the torso with some ultralight. And once that's looking pretty good, let's go ahead and bake it. And once it's baked and cooled down, it's time to add our clay. I'm going to start by covering the entire torso with a nice, thin, even sheet, and then we can start shaping out the legs. Now this version of the Cheshire Cat is a bony, hairless cat, so we're just going to show some bone definition in the legs here by adding a little snake of clay and blending it in. And I'm just going to start roughly giving it a little skin texture with my rubber shaper. To continue the emaciated appearance, we're going to use snakes of clay to define the ribs. Once the first snake of clay is in place, I'm going to blend in the edges with my spoon tool. And I just added a little more clay to further define the abdomen. Now let's press in some more ribs. Once the last rib is in place, I added these tiny snakes of clay and I'm blending them in to create the look of stretched skin. Now let's start going crazy with our skin texture. Using some flexible clay, I'm going to create the protruding vertebrae down his back. These are sharp and pointy. And using that same clay, we're going to shape out the neck. And with some snakes of clay, we're going to add the bone details going up. just going to roll my super poker in between each of those notches to make them nice and smooth. Now let's start the back paws. I added a piece of clay in the shape of the paw, and then I'm going to start pressing on each of the toes. Once they're all on, we're going to blend them in and then start shaping them out with a couple different tools. Using a tiny snake of clay, we're going to create a little excess flap of skin there where the paw meets the leg. Now I'm going to press in a little hole in each of the toes where I will be inserting each of the claws. After completing the other back paw off camera and positioning the front legs, we're going to go ahead and pre-bake this. And once it's baked and cooled down, it's looking pretty good. Let's work on those front legs. His shoulders have these little blunt horns on them, so I'm going to go ahead and add the first one. I'm just going to shave off a little bit of clay so the arms look skinnier, but I still want them to bulge out at all the joints. Once the front legs are done, we're going to start working on the tail. I added this wire into a pre-poked hole that I added to the armature, and I'm going to start covering that in more of my flexible clay. Once the tail is pretty smooth, we're going to go ahead and add all of these joints up the tail with tiny snakes of clay. For the last step on the tail, we have to add that little tuft of fur. Now let's texture it with my super poker. Cool, so far so good.
Alright, we're going to take a quick break from our video to talk about our sponsor, Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace for over 6 years now, and it has been a game changer. It's helped me grow my online presence and streamline my work effortlessly. As a business owner, I need a website that functions seamlessly and looks great, and Squarespace delivers. One of my favorite features is their SEO tools. Squarespace makes it easy to get discovered with built-in meta descriptions and sitemaps, which helps my site rank higher without any extra effort. I also love Squarespace Payments. I really like it because I can process all of my payments through the same dashboard that I'm already using. It's super easy to set up, and I can accept payments instantly through multiple methods like Apple Pay and Klarna. No hassle, just smooth transactions. And if you're selling products or services like I am, their online store tools are top-notch. From inventory to fulfillment, everything is built in for a seamless experience. Ready to build your site? Go to squarespace.com, start a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/aceofclay to save 10% on your first purchase.
Now let's start the head. After shaping it from aluminum foil, I covered it in clay, and now I'm mapping out all of the facial features. The original eye sockets I added were a little too high up on the face, so I lowered them a little bit, and now I'm popping in the eyeballs. Now let's start the lower lid. And the upper lid. Now for the first sinister brow. I'm just going to blend it into the surface and smooth everything out and repeat the same steps on the other side. Before I start the teeth, I just want to refine his smile. Using my Explorer tool, I'm going to press in the space in between each tooth. and then dome each of them out with my spoon tool. Once the teeth are looking pretty good, let's add that lower lip. Now for some big whisker pads. I'm applying these just like I applied the brows. I want them to be nice and bulgy, just like they are in the game. Now let's bring it all together with his nose. Now I'm going to bring out his chin a little bit more with another snake of clay that tapers at each end. And let's attach his little beard. And I just want to make his jaw a little bigger. And he's got cheeks, so I'm going to go ahead and pop those on now. Let's press in those nostrils. To texture the beard, I'm just swiping my cone rubber shaper on the surface and putting the lines as close together as possible. And of course, following the contours of his face. For the final step on his head, he needs some ears, so I just added some armature wire to support them, and I'm adding my flexible clay in a sheet like so, wrapping it around that wire and then shaping everything out from there. Working with thin sheets of clay like this that are just freestanding can be kind of tricky. Just make sure you always have something supporting them in the back while you're working. Just want to do a couple touch-ups and add some more texture here and there before I attach the head to the body. Like so. Now let's press out some whisker holes on those pads and then add some whiskers with some floral wire and bacon bond. There we go, I'll trim them later. Now let's add some more texture to the head and finish the front paws. Perfect, this guy's ready for his final bake. After baking and cooling, it's time for paint. I'm just using some cheap craft acrylics after I trimmed the whiskers. I don't know why I'm fixing them because they're all going to get messed up when I'm painting anyway, but let's start with this nice medium gray color all over the entire surface. I'm going to follow my base coat with a nice dark gray wash. And I'm going to dab off the excess with a paper towel. I just want this dark gray to go into all of the details on his body. Once the wash is dry, I'm going to go in and dry brush some lighter gray all over the surface. This is really going to bring out that skin texture. I'm just going to focus a little extra light gray on those whisker pads. I'm going to lighten the pads a little more with some watered down white. I'll diffuse that harsh edge with some fine line work later. Time to paint the nose. Now for his first tattoo. For the eyes, I'm going to start with a nice base coat of this orange color, and then I'm going to layer some yellow and lighter yellow on top of it. I want to create a nice sort of sunburst effect. And I'll be painting the black slitted pupils atop this orange. After a nice coat of black eyeliner, let's start freehanding some more tattoos. Now let's paint those whiskers black. To paint the teeth, I'm starting with a coat of light gray, then going in and darkening the space in between each tooth with some darker gray, and then highlighting them individually with some white. For the final step, I'm glazing the eyes and teeth with some Americana triple thick glossy varnish, and then I'm adding his earring off camera. It's just a piece of wire that I made into a circle and poked through that pre-made hole. And there we go. Now say it with me.
And he's done! My Cheshire Cat from Alice Madness Returns is complete. Let me know how you think I did in the comments. For years, I've been getting requests to sculpt characters from this game, and I don't know why it took me so long to do it, but I finally did it. And I started with the Cheshire Cat. I thought he was a very interesting character. I love his style. I love his whole persona in the game. I think he is super entertaining, and I really hope you enjoyed how my sculpture came out. So let me know again what you think in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching and being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Ace of Clay, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.